Trigonometric equations, T5, it's a thinking problem. Joy likes to run on a 2 pi kilometer stretch of rolling hills. The height in kilometers of the hills above sea level can be modeled by the function h of d equals to 4 cos square d minus 1, where d is the distance traveled in kilometers. At what intervals is the stretch of rolling hills so this sentence should be, at what intervals in the stretch of rolling hills is the height above sea level? So that is our problem. So let's read it once again. T5. Joy likes to run on a 2 kilometer stretch of rolling mills. So our domain is D is greater than equal to 0 and less than equals to 2 pi. That is, he likes to run on a 2 kilometer stretch of rolling hills. The height in kilometers of the hills above the sea level can be modeled by the function h of d equals to 4 cos square d minus 1. So let's write down the relation here. h of d is equals to 4 cos square d minus 1, where d is the distance traveled in kilometers. At what intervals in the stretch of rolling hills is the height above sea level? That means, when is it above 0? That is what we want to find. This is what we want to find. So it's kind of an inequality, correct? So to solve such an inequality, what we can do is we can find when is it 0. So that will give us the intervals where it could be less than 0 or greater than 0, correct? So that's how we'll do it. So let's find the points where the height is going to be 0. So let's equate like this. 0 equals to 4 cos square d minus 1. And let's solve for d from here. So that gives us 1 equals to 4 cos square d. And that means 1 over 4 equals to cos square d. And so we get cos d equals to plus minus square root of 1 over 4, correct? So that means plus minus square root of 1 over 2. That is the, So that means cos d equals to plus minus half, right? 1 over 4 square root is plus minus half. So that is what we get for cos d. Now when is cos d half? So we can have our special triangle, correct? That 30 is 60, 90, right? Now in that triangle, you know, this side is 1, this is 2, and that is square root of 3. Now here, for the angle of 60 degrees, we know cos is half 1 over 2. So the principal angle is 60 degrees. But the question is to find the intervals when the height is greater than 0. This is the height, this is the distance at which the height is 0, okay? So let's try to sketch the graph and see how should it be, right? Now, plus and minus square root 2 means what? Let's look into that also. That means we are looking for 60 degrees in each quadrant, right? So plus and minus, so cos is plus here and minus here. So that means 60 degrees in each. So we are looking for these kinds of answers, right? So we have zeros at angle equals to 60 degrees. And this is, let me write 120 degrees. And then from here to here, 80 plus 60 will give us 240 degrees. And this one is 360 minus 60, which is 300 degrees. So at these degrees, we have 0, right? That means the height is same as the sea level, correct? Now, let's look into the cosine function. So I'll draw a cosine function kind of like this. That is cos d. Now this is a function where d is on this axis, right, with distance, and that is h of d, correct? And let us say this is 4. Let's say this is 4, correct? Now no, this is not 4. Anyway, let's say this is the kind of function it is, right? Now when it is cos let's say this is cos function, then let's see what will be cos square function. If we are trying to sketch a cos square function, all negatives will become positives. Think like that, right? That means for cos square, 0 will be 0, right? But this part will get flipped. So this will be like kind of like this. So when we have cos square, then everything is positive. And that is the reason why we got answers in all the 4 quadrants, right? Now, for plus and minus half, that means let's draw this line. Plus and minus means earlier we got these points, and minus were these, which flipped and came to this place, right? So that reflects to this point, kind of. You can think like this also, right? So these are our points. So this is in the first quadrant, 60 degrees. That is in the second quadrant, 120 degrees. And then we have this one, which is 240. Let me write here, 240 degrees. And then this one is at 300, correct? As you can see, the height is above sea level between 0 to this place, correct? And then between here, I should draw here, right? Between here and here, correct? And then afterwards. Do you see that? And therefore, we can say that h of d is greater than 0 in these intervals. So the intervals are, so because it is greater than, we will not include those points. So the intervals are from 0 to 60 degrees, correct? And then from 120 degrees to 240 degrees. And then from 300 to 360 degrees. 360 degrees. So these are the 3 intervals when the height of cos square d function is more than the sea level, correct? So that is our answer. I hope you get it, right? So the height is greater between these 3 intervals, correct? As you can clearly see from the sketch. I hope you understand, right? So we can write answer as, so intervals are when d is greater than 0 and less than 60 degrees, or when d is greater than 120 degrees but less than 240 degrees, or when d is greater than 300 degrees and less than 360 degrees. This is within the domain of 0 to 2 pi. Do you understand? So that is how we have to do this question. Thank you.